Hey guys, welcome back to another NL Fantasy Fanatics video. We're here with Charlie as always. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. After a strong week last week, I'm ready to analyze it and then get ready for the nitty-gritty period coming up. What about you?
Yeah, I've done pretty well. I think five 1,000s in a row, which you'll take, and yeah, I'm ready to go. Um, yeah, good. Lot of stuff to take away from this week. It was quite an eventful week of rugby league, and the Dolphins getting up over the Eels, and you see those first two players there have quite a lot of relevance with Isaiah Katoa and Herbie Farnworth. Farnworth scored an incredible try, and I do think that he is the best centre all season. Do you think that Farnworth is a buy?
Farnworth, I do think is a buy with the nice buy schedule they have, playing 12, and they play 15 as well. Or do they miss 15?
I think they played 15, miss 18, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
okay. So great buy schedule. Farnworth, I think the best center in the league and is going to continue to get 60 plus scores, and there's no reason why you can't pick him up. Just a player you buy and then you lock him in for the rest of the year. Won't be troubled by Origin. So yeah, still a great buy.
Yeah, he looks like he has a cracking base there, tackling well and a lot of meters there. But another guy that has a cracking base with zero attacking stats and still gets out of 70. I think I brought him about 4 weeks ago and has gone one score under 50 for me and the rest over 60. Katoa does all the kicking, runs the ball, tackles well. Do you have any interest in him at all with there not being as many gun halves with Cleary missing now, considering there's Origin and he's on the bye? And yeah, etc. Like Daly Cherry Evans not playing, Nico Hines not playing amazing.
Um, I would have interest in Katoa if I didn't bring in Hines last week. I brought in Hines last week just as a pod, and look, he didn't play too badly, didn't score as well, but got the try assist and was looking good. So if I didn't have Hines, I'd probably look to bring Katoa in this week, if I'm honest. So honestly, a great buy if you need the half coverage for round 12.
Yeah, I do think so. I know Kara and Nicarima, they're not options. Katoga was one that we always said to hold, and he put out a very good score all in base, and he's one that he can probably play each and every week, averaging 40 now for the season. Definitely hold.
Yeah, for sure. All your Eels blokes you can easily hold as they got great buy schedules. So Iongi Katonga and yeah, those two especially just continue to hold through the buy periods.
Yeah, Hamaso, good game there. Would you have be looking to buy him? We'll probably play Origin though, which is probably the only thing. But an average of 48.7 for Hamaso is quite uptick, and the wing fullback spot is quite difficult.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. With Kalen Ponga and Reece Walsh out, oh well, not Reece Walsh out and Kalen Ponga not playing obviously at his best. I reckon Hammer is a sneaky shot for
Yeah, I agree.
fullback, starting fullback, which is not great fantasy wise, but good for Hammer. I wouldn't look to bring him in. I'd go elsewhere. But if you already own him, which some people do, continue to hold up until he gets picked for Origin. If he doesn't, you'll laugh at. So
Yeah, I
just
do think
continue to
there's a
hold
couple
Hammer.
more wing fullbacks you can go with over at the same price over him. And Iongi had a very good game. I don't know how many people held him. Do you still have him?
No, I moved him on yonks ago, but a lot of people continue to hold him throughout his rubbish scores, and now he's showing some return. So continue to hold him. He'll have a low break even, and he'll be into the 500k range pretty soon, I'd say.
Yeah, he's one that I kept, and one that I brought in this week over King Togia is Riley Smith. Thankfully, I did. He put up a really good score, just tackles well, and looks like he's won that 80-minute role. Do you agree there?
Yeah, I'm worried with hands in the mix soon, but look, 58 tackles is nuts with five misses, so he could have had 62 points.
Yeah,
I bought Smith in 2 weeks ago, and I've taken full advantage of his cash gen, and he's probably going to be my round 12 hooker, so he's a great option. Hopefully, hands just stays away.
still a low break even too there. Let's go down. Jordan Samarani, probably an outlier game. Probably need to see one more big one from him before I look to buy him. Moses, he's going to be fairly cheap and would play Origin. Funafuiaki has an average of 38.1, but I think if I'm correct, he has an average of 47 over the last three games. Do you have any interest in Funafuiaki at all, or is he a bit too overpriced now?
I don't know. I think this is the last week he gets decent minutes. Look, I was looking at bringing him in last week. I don't think the security's there, and I think from now on he'll start to lower on the minutes and doesn't become a good option when he's got lower minutes. So I think this is the last week to get him. Well, not even to get him. I think this is the last week. Like I'd completely avoid him from now.
Yeah. I really wish I did take my advice. I said it the whole preseason. Tom Gilbert is a trap, and he has looked to show that with only a 43 average, really dropped off from where everyone thought he was going to be. And yeah, I think no one really should really own him there. Um, Jermaine Hopgood, he's been just not getting big minutes this season. I don't know why. What is going on?
It's bad for me. Like I love Hopgood and I think he's their best player. Him and Moses are their best players, and I just can't understand why in a struggling Eels team that Hopgood's not getting any minutes. Like 40 minutes is ridiculous. He's your best player. He's good for 70 minutes. Just leave him on. Like why do they keep pulling him off? I just
Yeah,
don't understand.
and if he gets big minutes, he's going to be a screaming buy. I don't
Yeah,
think they'll have
exactly.
any Origin forwards there, so I don't really see there being a big minutes unless there's Origin. Not really anything else relevant to talk about further down. It was a weekend of comebacks, wasn't it? And
Oh, big time.
the Titans came back, and you saw it was also a weekend of not good fantasy scores. And what do you do if this guy average of 41.2, 500k now for Ponga at a score of 22? We saw signs last week that he was back, but now he fell off again. Where do you stand
It's
if you were a Kalen Ponga owner?
It's time to move him on, and for real now, it's time to get rid of him, especially when Gordon Tallis, who you talked to, said he's a fill-in for Origin. It's time to flick him. Get him out. He's too cheap, and he's not in any sort of form whatsoever. Yeah, time to move him on.
I personally think he's just so cheap at 500k for Kalen Ponga to be moved on.
No, I disagree. You said that 2 weeks ago, and then he put out a 50-ish, and then he's got another 20.
62.
I think the 20s are going to come. Doesn't matter how cheap he is, he's still the same player. He's still going to get the 20, 30 point scores. I think it's time to get rid of him.
Yeah, the Knights are just playing terribly. But Tino, cracking game, 58.8 average. He was always going to do this, but he is a lock for Origin, so I would not be buying him at all. Phil Sammy, he had a good game. Do you have any interest in Phil Sammy as a little bit of a cheaper wing fullback there, or nothing, just an outlier?
Uh, he's only averaging 39 with a 72 point score, and he's lost 41K on the year, which shows how poor his form he's been in. I think he's just gotten lucky this game, bit of an anomaly. I don't think he's going to score two tries every game or even two tries every 3 games. So I'm not looking at Sami whatsoever. Center
Yeah,
wing fullback Bill is handy though, but look, I'm not going near him.
yeah, I agree. And Dylan Lucas, the guy that just keeps on giving an average of 61 now. That 69 was incredible. Good try. Just he's a must-have, isn't he?
Oh, big time. I brought him in this week and capitalized on the 69 point score. Doesn't miss a week to around 18. Edge center duel, which I argue is probably the best one you can possibly have. And he's going to pump out 60s for fun. So must buy or must have.
Yeah, AJ Brimson, he got saved by those two tries there. Now he's a hold, isn't he? That he's gone back to those double games where he scored a double, and this guy just keeps on scoring, keeps on saving his fantasy scores. Um,
Mm.
yeah, Jaden Campbell,
Another thing on Brimson, I think Kieran Foran's back this week, which means Brimson might go to fullback, which is historically is better for him. So he's definite hold now for sure.
yeah, is that definitely for at least this week. Jaden Campbell, the guy just keeps on going again, 63 there, and pretty much a nothing game. He had that one try assist line break there. But it doesn't play round 12, which is why I wouldn't buy him. But round 13, do you think he could be a very interesting buy?
Yeah, I'll probably look to buy him in round 13, especially if Cleary isn't going to back up from Origin. I can move him straight on. But yeah, I'm not going to bring him in this week. I could, but I'm not going to just because he misses next week,
Yeah.
and I do need that half. Actually, no, I don't even need the half cover. But look, I probably wouldn't bring him in depending on your situation.
Yeah, and Jacob Saifidi seemed to get the bigger minutes out of the two of Leo Thompson and Saifidi there. Do you think that Saifidi could be an interesting buy now at that cheap price? Does play round 12 and round 15 if I am correct there. Do you have any interest in Saifidi at all? Has a little bit of a fallen gun.
I actually do have a bit of interest in Saifidi. He was a decent pod buy last week, and now he's going to be his break even's going to be really low. And if he continue to get 50 to 60 minutes, he's going to average 50, I reckon. And that's going to be great for him. I just have so many Knights players at the moment that look, I can get some more, but maybe with Marzu out, I can look to bring another Knights bloke in and get Saifidi instead.
Yeah, he's been a little bit interested in him there. Fletcher Sharp, the guy just keeps on giving. He's a buy, isn't he? Simple as that.
He's so good. He's one of the best sixes in the comp at the moment. Wing fullback half, and he's scoring tries every game. I
Yeah,
think he's still a great option to have.
he's incredible. Kai Pearce-Paul fell back to the pack. I wouldn't really be looking to buy Kai too much, to be completely honest
No,
with
I
you.
don't mind Kai Pearce-Paul at all, really. He had like an 11-point half and then had a 30 no, like a 13-point half and then had a 30-point half in the second half of footy. I don't mind him at all. I actually brought him in last week as a pod, and with the Newcastle edges historically performing well, I don't mind Piers Paul at all. I think he can easily pump out 50 to 60 point scores. And with his bye schedule, he's definitely a handy one to have. So I think Piers Paul is still a good option if I'm honest.
Yeah, I just think there's more edges you could go with there. Both Thermal 44 fell back to the pack. I probably wouldn't be buying Bo. I think he's done enough to play on the edge at Origin, as I don't think there's really anyone else there that's outperformed him and doesn't play round 12 either. Um, yeah, so what do you reckon happened to Leo Thompson's minutes there? You saw 40 minutes for him with a 32. Wasn't a terrible game. Like he had zero missed tackles, just like didn't get the minutes there. What do you think about that? Do you reckon Saifidi just coming back took some minutes off him?
Uh, it did happen earlier in the year. He had one or two games earlier where he got lower minutes and didn't score well. And then the next game till now, he got 60 minutes. So it's a weird one. They rotate him every few games, but hopefully he can come back to 60 minutes next week. But like I said before, he had that earlier game where he got 40 minutes and then straight back to 60. So who knows what's going to happen with him? Just
Yeah,
a watch at the moment.
I think it's one to hold if you already own him. Like he's got a very good buy schedule there too, with not many middles going around. Greg Marzou, talk us through him. He's a sell now, isn't he? 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. What knee injury, I think.
Yeah,
Um, Look, it's very saddening as the Knights do have such a great buy round schedule, but 4 to 6 weeks definite sell. He is very expensive now, so you can easily cash him down and then upgrade elsewhere. So actually a good sell to have.
yeah, he's made enough money there, and not really much else for Isaac Fasulma anyway. That negative one there. Jeez,
That
Latrell Mitchell. What? That was a funny try, wasn't it? And a cracking
was
kick goal.
cheeky, very very cheeky
If
that
only the
was. But
Cowboys could have had a field goal kicker like that.
oh bloody hell,
But
Cowboys were absolutely hopeless. But
yeah,
we'll move
but
on.
Latrell and definitely a sell, a hold now with that that 87. We knew he was going to do it. If you brought him in, congratulations to you. But I think he's going to play Origin. So if you're a buy planning guy, don't buy Latrell.
Yeah, don't buy him now. I think he's a shoe in for Origin, and
Yeah.
yeah, obviously no buy at the moment.
Out of Payne Haas and Terrell May, definitely they're both the two top guns there. Which one are you holding? Which one are you selling, or are you holding both?
I'm personally holding both, but if I really had to sell one, I think I'm selling Haas because I think May has the better engine than Haas, and Benji needs May more than Maguire needs Haas. So I think May will back up and get a lot more minutes than Haas will. So I'd hold May if I had to hold one of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that there's not as many Origin players this year that are relevant. So I think for me, I'm going to be holding all three of my Origin stars and Haas, Cleary, and a just face. And Terrell made there. Paddy Carrigan, good game. Won't be buying him. So Piakura got a 62 there with that 80-minute roll. Do you think now Piakura is a buy, or is that screaming a trap to you, considering you had someone play big minutes like Xavier Willison on the edge a couple of weeks ago, and now you got Piakura playing the 80 minutes on the edge?
Yeah, I just think the Broncos have too many edges for me to even look at Piakura. I do think it spells trap because they've got Ricky, Piakura, they've got Willison, and they've also got Gachevsky who comes back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I'm not sure. And he doesn't play round 12, so he's only realistically got 11, 13, and maybe 14 left on the edge before Gachevsky comes back and limits his minutes. So I don't
Yeah,
think he's a buy at all, really.
yeah, I agree. You and Aiken move back to the edge. Good game there. I wouldn't be buying you, and I just think too much unknown with the Rabbitohs edges there, and also he doesn't play round 12 either. So for me, I'm not buying you and Aiken. Do you agree?
Look, if he continues to get that edge spot after round 12, then I'd be very hot on him. But for now, I'm just waiting until after round
Yeah.
12 to look at him.
Down the middle, you know what Keon can do. I think you wait until after round 12 to see if he's still playing through the middle there. Not much else. Not much else really there, is there? Cobbo 32. Terrible game from Cobbo. Probably still hold, but until maybe round 12, you can move him on if he does play Origin there. But I don't really think Cobbo is owned by too many. What do you think about Cobbo?
A lot of people brought in Cobbo a few weeks ago. I I never thought he would be that good at fullback. He had two good games, but he historically didn't average great. So look, don't bring in Cobbo, and if you own him, he's probably going to play Origin. So he could honestly be a trade soonish.
Yeah, he definitely could. Ben Hunt, it'll be interesting to see how Ezra Mam goes in this team with Hunt's injury and how the Queenslanders go missing their pretty much hero for every game they play there. But Hubner, 31 in 46 minutes, looked all right. I do think he's a hold. Do you agree? Still got money to make.
Yeah,
Yeah,
46 minutes is good for him. Break even's going to get a bit higher now, but if he can get 50 minutes, then I think he can get 40 points. So I think he's got a bit more money to make.
yeah. And I feel sorry for all those people that brought Jermaine Salmon and you saw Jamie Humphreys with a game that shows he is not a formidable half, kick meters down, no attacking stats there. And yeah, Jamie, I don't think is really the buy, is he,
No,
anymore?
he's going to get really cheap now.
Yeah,
One of my mates brought him in last week when he was still injured to pre-buy him, and now with Latrell in the team, he's not getting any kick meters.
yeah. I think that
So
was quite
yeah,
stupid
terrible.
if you ask me. The trial kicking
Yeah,
377 meters. And a game of comebacks. This one was too. It was all Raiders first half scoring too, but the Dogs came back and yeah, Joe Tarpany, incredible game. He is I think the best middle you can go off over this Origin period. He plays round 12, cracking by, isn't he?
yeah. Joe Tarpane, 72 points, 60 minutes. Look, we had him as a pod captain in our Instagram, and for good reason. He's getting 60 minutes. He's PPM. He's an absolute beast. Six missed tackle. I mean, six minus points. He could have had 78 points. Still a great option, especially when he won't play Origin and has a fantastic buy schedule.
And I think this is the week that he'll like this what he's going to see big minutes when Horsburgh's out. But he's going to go to Origin obviously there. But Hudson Young put up at 770 there. He was on about 64 at half time or something. But still you take it. He is probably close to a sell now because I see him as a shoe-in for Origin there with an absolute cracking season. But I think you just wait and see. I would not be buying though at all, would I?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Those people that brought kick our life and good game from him, in my opinion, too overpriced. There, Stephen Crichton, he's had a cracking season, and do you think that he is a buy? He will play Origin, though, won't he?
Yeah, he will. He's a lock for Origin. He hasn't had a cracking season. He's just had a last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks have been good for him. One I want to talk about, Max King. Interesting one. I only got 50 minutes. The try really helped him. It was looking a bit worrisome without the try. What are you doing with Max King? You're obviously holding him, but would you be worried for owners for future?
I wouldn't be worried. Like I do think that he can pump out big scores in 50 minutes. Like I'm definitely holding him, but I keep an eye on him. Like after his round 12, they got such a good buy schedule there. But after his round 12, if he hasn't put up like if he put 240 scores, I could maybe look to move him on to a round 15 middle there. But for now, I'm definitely holding him.
Yeah, for sure.
But one player I'm looking at buying now with Matty Nicholson, syndesmosis 6 to 10 weeks there is Zach Hosking. We know what he can do there. And 58 and 62 minutes. Do you have any interest in Zach, who is arguably at a very discount price for someone of his standard?
I do have an interest in Zach Hosking, especially with the lack of edges playing round 12. I think he'll be great. Um, I just need to figure out who to trade him for in my team because I do need a backup edge
I was
for round 12.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my mates, and he was saying that he already owned Hosking, and he's really good mate to John Hosking. So I wonder if we need to get John back on to talk up Zach. Just have a episode just devoted to Zach Hosking.
Yeah, because John knows him very personally, obviously, and has a lot of insight to share about Zach. and they chat on a regular. So I think, look, John, I might actually honestly ask John what he thinks before I bring Hosking in. So I might do that after we finish this, but still, I think he's a great option regardless.
Yeah, definitely there. Bogan is probably one of the best halves you could go for the bye periods. Campbell, Katoa, Fogarty, probably the three you want there. And yeah, you think he's definitely just a hold there. He didn't have a crack in second half, but that's because they got destroyed and not really much to talk about there, is there?
Why not really? Jacob Carraz wasn't looking great until he got the tries, but he's going to get a try most weeks. So I think he's going to continue to average 50 to 70, to be honest. He's an absolute freak. Might honestly, if he keeps up this form, he could be a shot for Origin, even with Lomax being back. So I think it's too late to buy him. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do personally, unfortunately, do think he is in Origin this year. He has been killing it, and that try was pretty impressive too.
That's for sure. Absolute
Um,
freak.
Not much else there. Tommy Starling, Reid Marnie, probably not very good buy. Hookers, I would argue there's better options with Smith and Aaron Clark there. Matt Burden, he's going to be very, very cheap. If he can put up another, this is like a game you want Burden to do well. And like you've put 32 points on and a half and he's got 38. Like I do think that you need a bit more out from Burden. And if he gets a 500K, he's going to be a very good buy, won't he?
Yeah, he's going to be very cheap, and for a guy like Matt Burton, he's going to be great. I was looking at him to be honest, but break even's still really high. I think I'll just wait till he gets much
Yeah.
cheaper.
And he's not conversion kicking. The weak gutted dog. Got a good try there, but he's injured. And how funny was that comment to Ricky that he said?
What's that,
Um,
sorry?
what do you
Oh,
think
never mind.
about Tamale now with a 24 there? Do you think it's time for him to sell him, or is his buy schedule in that dual position just too good to sell him?
Yeah, look, I think prioritizing holding trades is better, especially for this period. And with Tamale playing round 12 and having a great buy schedule, I think I'm still going to hold. I don't care. He's made 212K this year. I don't really care if he loses another 30K. It doesn't bother me that much. So I'm going to continue to hold him for sure.
And 12 incredible points for Xavier Savage with 7 errors is crazy. People trying to
I
say he was
did
a five
actually
star of
see,
the
uh,
season.
I did actually see in one of NRL Blindside's posts that he had Xavier Savage a cheap pod. So that didn't go great. But
Yeah,
yeah,
poor
anyway,
blind
we'll
side.
move on.
Um,
Yeah, bloody
Aaron
hell.
Clark, he just keeps on giving. He is a must-have. Plays round 12. Not much else to say. He could even be a captain in round 12, couldn't he? He's killing it.
Yeah, I still don't own Aaron Clark, which is I think is a bit too expensive for me to get him in now.
Yeah.
But look, Fisher Harris back this week. Does Fisher Harris affect his minutes or not at all?
Probably maybe down to 60, maybe 55 minutes, but I still think he can pump out 55 to 60 there. I'd say he more affects Mitch Barnett's minutes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Well,
fair enough. But when
Barnett could
but
play
when
Origin.
Fisher Harris was in the team though, he was Clark was only getting 50 minutes and now he's bumped up to 65. So if Clark's getting 50 to 45 minutes, that'll be an interesting one for him, but I
I
want to
do
see how he goes.
I do think he has won that big minute role though. Clark, he's been incredible this season.
Yeah, he's an impact player for sure. They love him there at the
Yeah.
Warriors.
Mitch Barnett, he's a hold. He's been killing it. Not really. I don't think many people really own Mitch. He put how many minutes do you reckon he'll lose with James Fisher Harris back?
I'd say he's going to get 50 to 55 minute roll. So not
Yeah.
too many, but probably 10 to 15. So
Yeah.
still
So I
decent
reckon
for
just
him.
hold this week, hold round 12, and maybe look to move him on round 13 if he loses a couple more minutes. Chance, I wouldn't be buying. Are you? Do you reckon, would he be any interest in Chance at all?
Well, we had this guy, I think Jonah his name was on our Instagram, asking for a sneaky pod, and I told him Chance Nickel Cook's dad, and he got 30, and then he asked me if he's a sell. I'm like, mate, hold him. That's what pods are for. And then he comes out with a 67. So I think Chance is an interesting option. He got the 67 with one point of error and no attacking stats other than the seven tackle busts and two offloads. So he could be an interesting one. If he gets the try and try assist, which he can easily average 50. So, look, I want to see another game of good stuff for Chance, and then if he continues the form, he might be a good option for me.
Yeah, and I'm calling it pot of the week for me. Jack DeBellin, Toby Couchman gone down for 3 weeks. I do think he's going to step up there. 600k, he is very discounted in my opinion, and for me, he's the pot of the week. But on another note, how good is this guy? Just keep scoring tries. Dylan
Bloody hell.
Egan,
Right.
don't sell him, do you?
Best cash cow of all time. He's like Kale Iro from last year, one of the best cash cows ever. An absolute gun. He just keeps finding his way over. He's averaging almost a PPM when he comes off a bench, PPM of 1 when he comes off a bench.
Yeah,
And his break even is still going to be low, so easy hold. Hopefully he can just start again. That'd be great for him.
yeah, it would be good. And Luke Metcalf, geez, if you held him, you were laughing. I sold him quite early, and yeah,
Mm,
he's going to be 700k. He's a hold. Chuck him in your halves for around 12. Not much more to be said about Wade. I mean, sorry about Luke.
hmm.
Do you know
Yeah.
what happened with Wade Egan and that injury? He came off the
I
field
don't
early.
know. I didn't watch the game, and I didn't even realize he came off injured, to be frank, so
Yeah,
no
he
idea what
did.
happened to him.
Oh, well, that'd be interesting because that could make Aaron Clark get even more minutes if they chuck him 20 minutes at hooker now that Egan's injured.
Yeah.
Interesting there. Hamish Stewart, talk us through it. He's your pod. Had a good game too. Back to back.
Yeah, I bought in Hamish Stewart probably 6 weeks ago when he was at prop, and now he's starting at lock and getting 45 minutes and getting 50 points, which is nuts. He's going to make so much cash. I just wish Jack DeBellin would piss off. And oh, with Couchman out, maybe Stewart goes back to prop and gets like 40 to 50
Yeah,
minutes at prop. It could be an interesting one. I think he's going to be a great option to buy now. His break even's still very low, but if you I already own him like me, gee, we're in for a big train of cash here.
yeah, I do agree that he is a very good buy. Dimitri Valimova, don't think that's how you say it, but he had quite a good game there. Do you have an interest in him at all at 400k?
Not really, to be honest. I don't think I need too many cheapies at the moment, but if I was going to get a cheapie, it probably wouldn't be Dimitri.
Yeah, Leka Halasima had a good game there. He's made a bit of cash, but I would not be buying him close to the 500 mark. Damien Cook, if he can get an 80 minutes spot, he's going to be really, really cheap there. King Togia with a 32. This is what I kind of thought he would do a bit more with those not as many try assists there. But yeah, do you still think a 300k King Togia is a buy, or is it one now you kind of look to avoid?
No, I still think he's a buy.
Yeah,
Look, he's still getting 30s, which is okay. I think his floor is about 25 to 30, and his ceiling is about 60. So I think still a good option. Break even will be a bit higher, but still low, and he can still beat it. So still think he's a decent option if you need half coverage. Actually, no, he
yeah,
doesn't play around 12, which is a problem. But look, it could be an easy one to just put on your emergencies and plug away cash.
yeah, I do agree there. And so what do you don't own Toby Couchman, but what would you do? I think personally for me, I'm selling him. Great PPM again, but I think he's gone for 3 weeks there. These shoulder injuries can linger around for a bit more. Personally, I think it's time, his time's done. He's made enough cash for us. Where do you stand on the Toby Couchman train?
Yeah, I'd sell him as well, especially when Tarpanay's a similar price. I'd just go straight from Couchman to Tarpanay and call it a day, really.
Yeah, definitely agree there, and not really much else down here to watch or to talk about. And those people that own Cleary, that sold Cleary actually, please own up. He has killed it. This is what he was always going to do, and back up to an average of 63.2. And personally, I think that he is a hold for the Origin period. He has been killing it, and yeah, not much else really to say. He's been the best captain's option the last couple of weeks. Don't sell him because he's on a buy. He is a hold for sure. But where do you sit with Isaiah Yo? Other than this game, he was kind of going 50 to 55s there and wasn't in the best two mids in the season with you have a Haas and May averaging miles more than him. But do you think Yo is a hold now, or is a hold, or would you look to sell him now?
Look, Yo is an interesting one. Hmm. I'd probably sell Yo over Cleary if I had to, especially with the amount of really gun mids that are in the game at the moment. There just aren't as many gun halves as there are compared to gun mids. So I'd get rid of one, I get rid of Yo and just go straight to Tarpanay. Tarpanay is probably one of the buys of the week again, if I'm honest.
Yeah, because I don't think you can hold all three of those middles. Like they're just no one has enough to hold all three of those middles in Cleary.
Yeah, exactly. You need
I
like 12 coverage.
Yeah, I think Papali'i could be an interesting option now. Had quite a
Mm.
good game there. I wouldn't be buying him this week or next week, considering that. Or I wouldn't be buying him this week, considering he's on a buy. But next week he could be a quite an interesting edge there. So yeah, keep an eye out for him if he's still starting. Um, geez, Blaze Talungi had a very good game, didn't he?
He looked great. He looked like what I was expecting him to play like preseason. So
I'd still
hopefully he can continue this up and he'll be a great option. He's
I
still
would have
very cheap.
expected a little bit more than 58. Like he had those six missed tackles, which I was talking about a lot in the preseason there. But I mean, he scored 72 points, just a couple of negatives there. Um, Reece Robson, do you reckon he's done enough to play Origin? He could be a very sneaky hooker position if he hasn't, because I don't think he has been incredible at all.
Yeah, as a Cowboys fan, I think he's been very poor up until the last two or three games. So first 7 rounds, he's I thought he was pretty rubbish, and now he's starting to come back into some form. So I really hope he doesn't play Origin because he could be a very sneaky option after the Cowboys round 12 bye.
Yeah, it could. Jeremiah Nanai, eight missed tackles again. You'd be filthy, but those 49, he's made money. He probably will play Origin, which, yeah, I don't think he's a buy now. In that round 12 buy that he has there, and is probably too expensive for Jeremiah Nanai, I believe. Where do you sit with Jackson Purdue? He had quite a good game there. 48 points. Hey, he's probably made all of his money, maybe get it to 600K there, but doesn't play round 12. Do you think you can sell Jackson Purdue to maybe like a Herbie Farnworth, or is Purdue a guy for you that's untouchable?
Well, I don't know how you'd sell Purdue to Farnworth, but if you had the money banked, you could. His break even's 40, which is about 2 points under his average. And if you can get another 50-point game, which I know he's capable of, he still could make a bit more money. Like, it's an interesting one. I think it's a very luxury trade for you to be
Yeah,
trading Purdue, and I'm going to continue to hold personally.
yeah, I do agree. Rob Derby couldn't catch a cold out there, but got a try that pretty much didn't ice the game because you guys drew, but that made the game interesting to that go to that golden point. Scott Drinkwater back to pack. He did play very well, very good conversion kicker. He's playing incredible. Just didn't really get a lot of like base stats there. Scott's definitely a hold, isn't he? But don't
Yeah,
buy him
for
now.
sure.
It's got round 12. Buy so close.
Yeah, definite hold though, for sure.
Um,
Can't sell to Scott Drinkwater.
Tom Jenkins, 36 points there. He's a hold too. I believe that Brian Toto will play Origin on the wing there. Yeah, and for me, he's just definitely a hold. One that you can play in round 12 on that wing spot there. And that Patia guy came back to the pack with that 17 there. A little bit of interest in him from other people, but for me, it was a bit of a trap. Wow, we got absolutely
Oh,
destroyed on Mother's Day.
nuts. Absolutely
Crazy.
nuts.
But yeah, Pappenhausen, he looked incredible, didn't he?
He was amazing. He was exact. I think Pappenhausen will be the best player of all time and not play Origin.
He could
Like
be. Yeah,
maybe now he has to play Origin is what I reckon.
I do think
He's
he could have maybe done enough to put himself in an Origin spot. I hope not, but yeah, he's one that I'm definitely holding now after this. This is what he was capable of, but I mean, he had so many attacking stats, didn't he?
mate. He had 52 points in tries and goals combined.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
absolutely nuts. That's just nuts. He was electric. And for me and you, we both own him. We were shooting up the ranks, both scoring 1,000 plus. So,
Yeah.
wow, what a player!
But do not
What a
sell,
player!
do not buy Ryan Papenhuyzen. They've got a round 12 buy and has a little bit of Origin risk there. It's kind of chasing the points too a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Cam Munster, he is probably a hold now if that's 72, at least this week. Yeah, do you think that he's a hold for sure?
For sure.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of DMs saying with Munster in their trades, and I'm just saying you got to hold Munster, especially just hold him until he plays Origin. He's that kind of guy that can be so destructive for teams, and proves me right here with 72 points. And I was telling everyone to hold him, and he paid off. But yeah, continue to hold Munster till Origin. Hopefully he gets, well, he'll likely get picked. So when he does get picked, flick him on,
yeah,
or even hold him through that. He probably will back up for the Storm. But
yeah.
I'd say just hold till Origin and assess what happens there.
How in the world can Terrell May score 64 in a 64 to nil flogging? He's incredible. I think he is
Well,
a
he
hold
made
all
50,
season
he
long.
made 52 tackles. They didn't, they barely had the ball, so
Yeah,
that's how.
I think he's definitely a hold there. And One that could be a very interesting round 13 halfback here is Jerome Hughes. He only played 60 minutes. I do think he got rested there, but put up 60 points. This is what he was doing last year when he gets these tries and that. For me, he is not a screaming buy because his base a little bit off, but very good buy for round 13, but definitely would not be buying him now at all, would you?
He's just not doing any kicking, which is
Yeah,
annoying me. But look, he's shown some good form now in the last 2 weeks, but I just want to see another game of good form, and then I'd look at him. He
yeah.
just hasn't done enough for me this year.
Eli Katoa had a good game there, but I wouldn't be buying him. Too many other edges there. Alex Seyfarth, yeah, he's done really well. Average of 45 here, made money. But now, do you think Seyfarth could be one you move on to a gun edge for the rest of the season? Now that he's at 584k now with a little bit of a higher break even.
Yeah, I'd probably hold safe fast if I'm honest. You've held him for this long, may as well keep holding. So if I owned him, I'd just continue to hold, unless you have so much cash banked where you can just move him up to like a Piers Paul or a Lucas or something like that.
Yeah, I do agree. Galvin and Luai, no interest in them. Not much really else down here to look at, is there? Geez, Dewey owners are furious. Yeah, not much else to look at there. And on to the last game. My saving grace, this guy, average of 42.8, those two try assists. You called me stupid when I told you I bought him, and I mean, he's done me well, made me 128k there, Billy Burns. If he can get one more week, milk him up to 470k, I'm laughing. But yeah, he's a
Yeah.
very good player there. And yeah, but Hero, geez, he just keeps on going, doesn't he? 689k now is crazy, 55.5
Oh yeah.
average. Do you think he's
He's
a
such a
very
beast.
sneaky pod for the round 12 centre bringing?
I personally don't, if I'm honest. I think he's obviously gonna score tries, but I think he's getting a bit fortunate with his tries. And he obviously does tackle break a lot. But I think without tries in most of his games, he'd average about 45, not 55. And he could be an interesting pod, but you're relying on a lot of things to go well for for him to score really well. So
Yeah,
I think he's also a little expensive as well, especially when Herbie's an extra what, 50 something K. So I
yeah.
just got Herbie over him.
I got no interest in Jake Simpkin. I think he is a little bit too overpriced there. But Nicker, fallen gun, 569k now, 53 score there. Do you think Nicker is quite an interesting option now for the round 12 edge?
I do. I actually had Nikora in my trades last week, but I didn't end up pulling the trigger. But this week I might bring him in. He's looking back to his good form. Didn't have too many attacking stats, which was good for him. A few offloads in there, but Hines was feeding him the pill, which is great. And if you can have Hines and Nikora in a team and they both go off and the Sharks do well, then you could be in for two 60-point scores. So I might honestly look to target Nikora this week for a round 12 edge.
Is AFB a buy for round 12? 52 there with a try that came with, but it was a low scoring game anyway for most of these players. But an average of 53.5 for an middle at 609k that does play round 13 or round 12 seems like a very interesting pod play there. And it's one that I could be leaning to. What do you think?
51 minutes for me isn't great, especially when he also got about 40 minutes 2 weeks ago. Look, I want him to get 50, 60 minutes before I bring him in. And if he gets 60 minutes this week, then maybe, just maybe, I might look at him next week for a cash out option, maybe even if I trade half. But for now, I'm not looking at him.
Yeah. Nico
Oh,
Hines, really cheap there. Are you happy with that 51? Could have gone a lot higher. Just needs those big kick meters back, doesn't he?
yeah, his kick meters, I think he was around 100 meters last week, and now he's up to 270. So they're coming back a bit more. I was not mad with that game. He was playing very well in the first half at about 34 points and then just fell off in the second. So I'm not really mad at that at all. Could have had 61 points without negative. So yeah, as a Hines owner, I'm not mad.
Yeah, Blake Brayley, quite a good pod in for the hooking position, I feel, in round 12. But yeah, it's kind of you have the guts, you pull it. He's not going to make too much money. It's going to be 50, 52, 50, 55. Like,
Yeah.
not really much upside there. Um, Olakawatu is going to be very cheap at 636k. If he doesn't make Origin, do you have any interest in Olakawatu? Looked like a better game for him too.
No, no interest for me. Look, he's just not doing enough. Averaging 48, but that's with 2 games of 70 plus, and I think he's just too up and down. Until I see some consistent form from him, I'm probably not going to bring him in.
Yeah, Cam McKinnon 43 there. You're holding him for sure. Is that around 12 middle there, aren't you? But wouldn't be buying.
Yeah, I wouldn't be buying him. I saw a lot of people buying him last week. I didn't think he was ever a buy. He's well, obviously it was a buy because I've had him since round one as a pod, but I don't think he's a buy. The minutes just aren't consistent enough. He will have a good game here and there, but I don't think he's good enough, like solid enough to buy consistently.
Yeah, Jazz Tavanga had a quite a good game there with that 41 there. Uh, People were bringing him in. Do you think that Jazz is an interesting buy now at that cheaper price if you're looking for a hooker now, considering he's cheaper than both Aaron Clark and Riley Smith?
I'd still go Riley Smith over Jazz Tavanga, even with hands in the mix. Look, 49 minutes really isn't great for Tavanga. Lock, even when he's at lock, that's fine, but he'll eventually he might play through the middle even, but I think he'll eventually go back to hooker, and especially with Riley Smith being more consistent in the 80-minute role and his break even being around seven, I'd still go Smith over Tavanga.
Yeah, and Daly Cherry Evans, geez, he's going to be cheap soon. I don't think there's many
Ugh.
people that really own him. What is that to do with Ruben Garrett? The low game, I think it's just an outlier for him, isn't it? Like he doesn't get 18 negatives very often there. He's definitely a hold. He's
Yeah,
going to do incredibly well for you with that cover in round 12. He could even be a buy now at 600k there.
yeah, just Manly looked terrible, so Garrick obviously fell
Yeah.
under the pressure there, but look, hold Garrick for sure. He's a
And
very destructive player when he's on his game.
Turbo at 500k, you got to have a lot of guts to do it, but he could be interesting if he doesn't play Origin, couldn't he?
Well, he just did nothing. The reason he did nothing though is because Sharks' pressure off the bombs was just so good. He couldn't do anything. He'd catch the ball and he'd be tackled instantly. So in a game where it's not such a one-sided affair, I think that Turbo can do better. But for now, I'm just waiting for that day to come before
Yeah.
I buy him.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Doing incredibly well this season with our private group. We got Paddy at 58 and Ollie at 49 ranked right now. If you want to get in there, a lot of buy planning that's going to go in there. Even though there's only 16 weeks left, you get cheaper discounts next year. I still think it's a very good investment. Do you have any last comments to say, Charlie?
No, not really. You summed it up there. Like you just want to repeat what you said. We got Paddy and Mary's ranked 60th and Ollie ranked 50th, and I'm ranked like it's good for us too. We listen to our own advice and other people's advice. I'm ranked about 3K at the moment. We got other people ranked around 2K. So everyone really is below 10K mark in there and it's all going well. So anyway, as always, DMs are open on Instagram and just send us through your trades and TLT thoughts and all that good stuff. So
Yeah,
that'll just about do us for tonight. So
we
see
really
you fellas.
really appreciate the support, fellas. As well, we'll see you in the TLT video.
See you fellas.